Alright, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Demkeys, and today we are going to be carrying on learning about Godot. I've been making a lot of progress even off stream, learning various Godot related things. We're going to jump right into it, but before we carry on reading the documentation and stuff, I wanted to share some information with you guys. So last stream I was complaining, or maybe the stream before that, I don't remember. I was complaining about, or well, not really complaining. I was wondering, let's say I was wondering. I was going to complain if it wasn't possible to do the thing, but I was wondering how I could zoom in and out in the scene without using the mouse wheel, because the mouse wheel on my mice usually go bad really quick. So I generally rely on a bunch of other alternatives. So in Blender, for example, I use the option to emulate the third mouse button. So, for example, to orbit, I'm able to hold Alt and then I think left click or right click. I don't remember the shortcuts, but I'm able to orbit using the keyboard and mouse buttons without having to press the mouse wheel and without having to roll the mouse wheel. To zoom, I'm able to, I think it was Control Alt and then either left click or right click, and then I can move the mouse up and down and it'll zoom. Okay. Now, wait, why does this look, why does it look black on my screen? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, it doesn't look black on my screen. It's, so this, hold on. Just so you guys know, I'm talking about this green line here, the y-axis. With my video player small, or well, not in full screen, it was small enough that the pixels were showing up as black, and that's still the case. But like when I go to full screen, then I'm able to see it as green. So I don't know if it's just a matter of like, because the player is so small, so like the pixels are, that their color is getting messed up, or if it's something else. Anyways, so what I wanted to share with you guys is you are actually able to use the keyboard, and well, you are able to avoid having to use the mouse wheel and the middle mouse button as well, which the middle mouse button is usually just the mouse wheel also acts as a button, so you can like click it. But I try to avoid having to use that wherever I can. So the way to do that is you click Editor, then go to Editor Settings, and then a window is going to open up. Wait, shit, is this going to show up? I don't know if this will show up. Give me a second. Oh shit, it's not showing up. Okay, I'm going to have to find a different way to show you guys this. Why is that so loud? Okay, let's turn it down. Let's turn that. Or just a second. Maybe I can skip this track. Let's go to the next track. By the way, speaking of tracks, shout out to Machine's Supremacy. I'll be playing their music throughout today's stream. From what I know, they do allow people to use their music in like streams and stuff. I believe that they had also made like an official statement saying that, you know, it's okay if you want to use their music, and huge shout out to them for that. I'm gonna test it out today, and see if it's all the tracks or if it's some tracks or what. By the way, I was supposed to start the stream like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago, but like I got lost in a thought, and literally that's what happened. I got lost in a thought, and that branched out into other thoughts, and then before I knew it, like 45 minutes had passed. Okay, so I'm gonna try and bring this window up. Let's see how I can do that. So what we could do is I'm gonna display this. I don't know what this is gonna display. Okay, it's displaying a gray screen. Is the settings thing showing up? No, that's not showing. Actually, wait, what if I expand? What if I expand Godot? No, it's still not showing. Okay, it's a separate window, right? What I could do is what if I switch the game to that? No, that's not working. I really want to show you guys this, dude. Oh, wait. That might work. Hold on. Let me just bring this back here. Now it's showing editor settings. It's not showing what I was hoping it's going to show. Wait, why is this of this size? Oh, it's because it's the editor window. Okay, I'm gonna transition real quick and see if I'm able to get it to show. Like, let's just give it a couple seconds. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, it's not working. So, what we're gonna do, just for the sake of showing you this example, I think I'm gonna turn on display capture. Do I still have display capture? Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this off, and then I'm gonna turn on display capture. All right. So, real quick, so to open up editor settings, oh wait, it didn't transition. Oh, it didn't transition. Okay, there we go. So, to open up editor settings, you click editor settings, and then the window is going to open up. In the window, you scroll down and see under editors, there's a 3D option. Open up 3D, and under that, or in that section, you can scroll down and check this option, emulate 3-button mouse. So you check that option, and after that, you can, in your scene, let's say you wanna zoom in. You just hold the control key, and then when you move your mouse up and down, it's gonna zoom in and out. And if you want to orbit, you hold keep in mind, you just have to hold the control key. You don't have to click any mouse buttons. And I love that. That is super convenient. Okay. If you want to orbit, you hold the Alt key, and then you can move your mouse around, and it's going to orbit around whatever you're currently focused on. If you want to pan, you hold the Shift key, and you can pan that way. This is super convenient. Another really, really convenient thing. Shit, I just realized that my VTuber avatar is still on screen. Though, I mean, that hasn't really taken away... Just a second. That hasn't taken too much away from what I just said. Okay, next thing. If you want to enter fly mode, if any of you are familiar with Blender's fly mode, where you can like enter fly mode and then use WASD and Q and E and like a couple of other keys and your mouse as well. Basically, you can treat the camera as like an object that's flying in space, and like you can control it, you can move it around and aim it wherever you want. In Unity and in Godot, you can do that by right-clicking and using WASD and Q and E to move the camera around. But if you want to enter fly mode, you can press Shift F, and that enters fly mode. So then you don't need to right-click on your mouse. When you're in fly mode, You can move around using WASD and Q and E. And once you're happy with where you want the camera to be, you can exit fly mode with Shift F again. So basically, you can toggle fly mode on and off. I still have to just a second, man. Okay, these tracks are not balanced. They're all coming in like varying volumes. Oh, hold up. I wonder. Just a second. Just hold on, dude. I need to switch out of this display capture, because like in display capture I need to be careful of like what I'm clicking on. We're gonna transition and we're good to go. Okay. Okay, so this music is a little loud. What happens if I mute and then unmute? Is it still loud? It's still loud. Yeah, okay. So the music is it's kind of, it's not the music that's unbalanced, it's the playlist that I'm playing. It's got tracks from a couple of different, it's got, well, they're all Machine Supremacy's tracks, but they're not uploaded by that channel, by Machine Supremacy. These are uploaded by like various other people over the years. For example, this current track that's playing, this was uploaded 15 years ago. Like this band, they were big. They still are. Like a lot of people listen to them, but like back in the day, they were quite famous. And they did a lot of like video game music kind of soundtracks. They also made covers of various. I don't know if specifically. Yeah, I think they did make covers of like video game music as well. But they said that their music was very heavily inspired by video game music. And like, dude, you guys should listen to their music, man. It is it's pretty awesome. Now, I think, okay, let me try to find. Let me try a different way. We'll play individual albums, because like I'm playing this thing right now, which actually, hold on. If I play this mix, are these all tracks uploaded by, are all these tracks uploaded by Machine Supremacy, or does the mix contain a bunch of other? Give me a second. For some reason, this other track came in, which isn't a Machine Supremacy track. Yeah, okay, so this is these are uploaded by various channels. Okay, let's try. Man, okay, so there's this one track. I'm gonna play that track right now, and after that we can, you guys need to listen to this track. So this is a track called Empire of Steel, and this is Machine Supremacy's cover of Empire of Steel, which was originally done by Essinger and Scandroid. And funny enough, I found Essinger through this song. Give me a second. I need to hydrate. All right. So let's see what the volume looks like. Do I need to turn this up here? I think I need to turn this up. Give me a second. Is this good? I think it could be lower. Yeah, I think this is good. Also, I think the issue was actually the volume of the music. Like yesterday or day before yesterday. No, I didn't stream yesterday. The last stream or the stream before that, I'd mentioned that somebody had commented on one of the VODs that I'd uploaded, and they were complaining about. Actually, they weren't even complaining. They were saying that, in a way, they were complaining, and it was a valid complaint. They were saying that you shouldn't use music because I mean they were saying that I shouldn't use music in the videos because it messes with the translation thing. Like the videos don't translate well. I think I believe YouTube does have like their own translation system, and if I use music, then it kind of messes with that. I think the issue was that the music was a little. It wasn't it's not that the music was too loud, it's that the music was loud enough that it messed with the translation system. So I had to turn the volume down a little more. And I tested it out with my previous VOD, I think the previous two VODs, and it seems like the translation seems to be fine. So I need to make sure that I keep the volume up to a certain threshold. I can turn it up when I want you guys to, hear the song. Well, this is one of those situations where I wanted you guys to hear the song. Okay, while this is playing, I think we can line up the first album. Let's go for... So the first song of theirs that I had heard, I believe it was either through... Either it was through The Looking Glass, or it was through... or not through. It was either through The Looking Glass, or... What was the name? Was it Through the Looking Glass? Yeah. So it was either Through the Looking Glass, or there was another one, Edge and Pearl. Edge and Pearl. So these are the two songs that I had heard of theirs, like the back in the day. This was like when I was... Ooh, how long ago was this? Let me see if I can track this. This was... So we are in 2023 right now. This was... Okay, hold up. This was like 14 years ago, I believe. 13 years ago, I think. And yeah, these are the two songs of theirs that I'd heard, and like I loved it at the time, and like I still love those songs. I'm trying to see which album they might be in. Okay, so the song is over. We're gonna line up the first album. You know what? Okay, let's go for this album, Phantom Shadow. Whatever the tracks are, I'm sure they're gonna be pretty awesome. Just give me a second while this thing loads up. All right, I need to check the music. I need to check the volume before I carry on. Let the song get to... Oh wait, no, this is the intro. Oh, that's a little bit loud. I think that's a bit loud. Yeah, I might need to turn that down. Give me a second. Let's see. Actually, I don't even know if this is that loud. Okay, hold up. Give me a second, dude. I need to get to like a loud part of the song. Okay, yeah. Let's... I think this could be turned down a little more. Let's turn it down a tiny bit more. Because as great as the songs are, I don't want it to mess with closed captioning. Okay, you know what? Let's just hope it doesn't mess with closed captioning. Okay, we're gonna carry on reading about Godot now. So I was in this section, which is a step-by-step guide for your first steps into Godot. I've already read up on the nodes thing, and I'm slowly getting an idea of how things are done in Godot. Like I'm slowly starting to like connect the dots. Next, I was in the scene section. You know what? We can read this again. Oh, also I need to check the audio, so I'm gonna take out my headphones and my earphones and to see how it sounds on stream. Give me a second. There's gonna be some feedback. See how it sounds on stream. Give me a second. There's gonna be some feedback. Wow, you can barely hear the music, dude. Wait, is there music playing? I can't tell if there's music playing. Wow, okay, that's a little too low. So I'm gonna turn that up a tiny bit, well, quite a bit. Alright, so now I can hear it. Now I'm gonna turn it down. Okay, check, testing. Alright, you know what? Yeah, yeah, that's a decent amount. That's a decent amount there. Okay, so now I can mute this and take off my earphones so I can read this. Okay, cool. So, scenes. When you organize nodes in a tree, like our character, we call this construct a scene. Okay. Once saved, scenes work like new node types in the editor, where you can add them as a child of an existing node. In that case, the instance of the scene appears as a single node with its internals hidden. So this is interesting. Like I'm slowly like starting to connect the dots that, oh, okay, how things work in this engine, because it's kind of different. It's already different from, I mean, the only point of reference I have is Unity, and like in that aspect, it's already, if you're hearing popping, I do that. It's my fingers and like joints and all of that. Okay. So the only point of reference I have is Unity. So like that's the only thing I can compare it to, and like I'm already seeing a difference between how things are done, how things are organized in Godot versus in Unity. Whereas Unity has the object of the concept of game objects and components, Godot apparently has nodes and scenes, and nodes are able to inherit a lot more than just the transform from their parents. Whereas in Unity, it's actually, to be honest, in Unity, it's not really inheriting the transform, but like to a certain extent, there's that parent-child relationship, which causes movement of the child game object when you move the parent game object. As an example, it also causes like scaling and rotating when you apply any one of those transformations to the parent object. It does have an effect on the child object as well. So like in that sense, yeah, there is some connection there. In Godot, however, there's a lot more than just that going on. So it'll be interesting seeing how things are structured in Godot. Also, I'm really enjoying getting all the amazing information on Twitter from various Godot community members and the dev as well. One of like the main dev, I keep saying main dev. I don't want to use that term. I keep saying main dev because like this was the person who like started this, like who this was, the person that made this engine. And like now there's many other people working. If I remember right, they mentioned there's like 600 contributors. But like okay, one of the devs, the core engine dev, um they post, actually the majority of the stuff that they post on their account is Godot related. So like quite often you'll see them talking about how various things in Godot work, and given recent events that took place with Unity, a lot of people have been migrating to different engines, or at the very least trying out different engines, kind of like how I'm trying out Godot. And a lot of people have been considering Godot. So like the dev has been giving a lot of information. I don't know if their name is meant to be pronounced as Juan or Juan, because like I've seen Juan be pronounced as Juan. You know what? I'm gonna say Juan until I figure out whether it's Juan as in the Spanish name. You know? So okay. Anyways, that person has been posting a lot about Godot, and they even prior to that they were posting a lot more, but like now they're posting even more about. Wait, let me rephrase. Even prior to this event, they were posting a lot about Godot, because their account is like centered around Godot. But like given the recent events and the fact that a lot of people are suddenly very interested in many other game engines, including Godot, Godot has been seeing a lot more. They've been getting a lot more attention than they got before. So now is the time to, give as much information as you can and help the newcomers out as much as you can. So the dev has been giving a lot of information. There are many people who have who are concerned about the fact that GD script is sort of considered the main language in Godot. While Godot does support a lot of other languages, it supports like C#, C++, Rust, I think D maybe, I'm not sure, also Python. While it does support those languages, and I think there's official support for C#, if I remember what we had read in the docs the other day, while all of that is true, GD script is still the preferred language. You can go with other languages if you want, and this is the great thing about Godot. So the dev has been mentioning that because of I don't remember the exact details, but the way that they've designed things, any language can be integrated into Godot. So like you can technically use whatever language you want, and they've mentioned that you can use GD script and any other language if you wish. Like together you can use them. You're not locked in to a specific language. So you can use GD script for example, you can use GD script for the majority of your stuff, and if it's something if it's like a complex system that you absolutely need to use a different language for, or if it's some code that you feel like you could get better performance by using a different language than GD script, then you can use a different language for that specific thing. You don't have to use that language for like everything. Of course, you can use that language for everything as well, but like they've mentioned that GD script is the language was made for Godot, and it's like specific to Godot. So like it is very tightly and very deeply integrated with the engine. But they've also mentioned that like I don't want to say everything, but I think everything. But I don't want to say everything. I do think everything based on like what I've read, but I'm not going to say everything. I'm going to say most of the things based on what I've read. Most of the things that you can do with GD script, you can also do them with the other languages. like any of the other languages that you choose to use with Godot, and that's because of the way that they've defined their API. So the way that a lot of the other languages communicate with Godot, it's kind of like standardized. So there isn't like there isn't there isn't a difference, or there isn't like limitations. It would be more about like if you are able to achieve better performance by using a different language for a specific thing. And I want to explore that thing as well, like how, like I want to try and understand how using a different language is, how it would be working in this scenario. That would be interesting to learn. I'm more interested in, I'm more excited to use Rust with Godot. But I mean, I've been doing C# for a decade, so more than a decade. So like, I'm very comfortable with C#. If I need to do anything in Godot in C#, I can definitely do that. But like, I'm more excited for Rust, because like what I intend on doing, based on what they're saying, if GDScript is so tightly integrated with the, just a second, I wasn't paying attention to if there are ads playing or not. I don't know. Oh yeah, okay, there won't be ads playing here. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah. So what I plan on doing is I plan on using. Okay, there's an ad playing right now. Okay, so I was talking about ads on the music that I'm playing, but there's an ad playing on the video on stream right now. So I'm going to sit quiet for 30 seconds. Actually, I'm going to hydrate as well, because I just realized that I forgot to do that. All right, welcome back. So what I'm really interested in is learning about how the code that you write in a different language, how exactly does it call into the engine API? Like, what exactly is going on there? I think that's what I'm a lot more interested in. Or, well, in this scenario, like in this situation where I'm trying to understand how it works in the backend, I think what I'm really interested in is like how any code that you write in a different language would be calling into Godot. And the great thing is Godot is open source, so I should be able to, look around, and I can dig into the code myself, and I can also search for, like, somebody else must have asked this question as well. You know what? If nobody else has asked this question, I'm gonna be the one to ask the question, because I want to know. I think Godot does have a forum. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure someone must have asked this question previously. I can't be the only one who's curious about this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who are curious about this kind of stuff. Anyways, dude, enough with the tangent. Let's carry on. Reading. Scenes allow you to structure your game's code however you want. You can compose nodes to create custom and complex node types. Like a game character that runs and jumps, a life bar, a chest with which you can interact, and more. All right. By the way, another thing I'm interested in looking into is, so we are learning about scenes here. Apparently there's something called servers in Godot. Like, there's a concept of servers. I haven't looked too much into it yet, but the dev was they were giving like optimization tips. They were like, people have been asking, how do you do something similar to how we had ECS in Unity, the entity component system, the dot stack and stuff like that. Basically, the whole idea with the entity component system was going for a more data-driven approach or data-oriented design rather than object-oriented design. So with that approach, you would keep the data and the systems separate, and you would how do I put this? You would create systems that would operate on data, and because of the way that you were designing things, you would be able to do a lot more complex things in a much more performance friendly way, without having to deal with issues like, oh, the garbage collector is being invoked and that's causing like a huge hitch, or oh, I'm not able to run the logic for controlling, I don't know, thousands of characters on the screen, stuff like that. You could That was actually one of the selling points of ECS, that if you were in situations where, for example, you're doing like a strategy game kind of thing, where you have, hundreds or thousands of little little characters or creatures or whatever that are moving around, being able to control all of them, while it would be possible using the mono behavior thing, it wasn't necessarily the most performance friendly. So with ECS, you were able to solve that problem, and you had the option to do it in a more performance friendly way and get, good frame rate. Anyways, ECS. People were looking for an ECS, how to approach the ECS method in Godot. So the dev suggested looking into servers. So I'm going to look into that later on as well. I don't know anything about the concept of servers, but apparently that helps with when you're in situations where you want to render, not just render, but like operate on a lot of different entities. Okay, carrying on. The Godot editor essentially is a scene editor. Oh, another thing, I think I read this after I ended the previous stream. By the way, the previous stream, I completed the challenge, the Google Foobar challenge. I completed that challenge after the stream. One of the changes that I had to make was something that I hadn't taken into account was I was checking for alphanumeric, but I wasn't checking for, like, I wasn't within my logic. Let's say I was only supposed to check for alphabets, and like if the alphabet was, upper, but like I was using alphanumeric, and because of that, numbers were able to get through, and there was like an issue there. So yeah, I changed that, and then after that I was able to pass those last two remaining hidden tests, and I passed the whole thing. I looked up the Foobar, competition. Apparently, like, the next few challenges, they get a lot tougher. One person mentioned that they took, I think the last challenge took them 20 days to complete. I have no idea. I have no idea what the challenge was there, but that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. One of these days, maybe I could try doing the Foobar challenge. Dude, you know what we could do? Since I'm learning Godot, I think a good way to learn more would be to try and do some game jam. Currently, as a joke, well, I mean, it's serious as well because it's a game jam, but like the name is a joke. There's a game jam currently going on called Jump Ship Jam. Jump ship, for those of you who don't know, it's sort of an, I guess you would call it an idiom. It's an expression basically for moving from one thing to another, leaving one thing for another. So in the case of Unity and Godot, people jumped ship from Unity to Godot. Like, I mean, a lot of people are doing that. Another example would be VR chat and chill out VR. I think, I don't remember when the EAC update was. I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago. I think it was a year ago. I don't remember. I think I maybe it was 2 years ago. Fuck, dude, I can't remember. Anyways, whenever that had happened, a lot of people were saying, you know, they're gonna jump ship. Basically, that's the idea. Like jump ship, you know, means jumping to a different thing. So yeah, so somebody made a jump ship jam. I don't know why I was telling you that. I think it was just because I remembered it, and yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, one of these days I could also do a game jam. You know what? There's a local game, not local, global game jam that takes place every year. We could try doing that. I mean, there's no shortage of game jams. If you look on itch.io, they have like a calendar for game jams. So at any given time, there is some game jam going on. I don't remember who made this specific game jam that I had done. But there was a game jam. I don't remember the name of it. But the idea in the game jam, I think it was just called One Script a game or something like that. But the whole idea with that game jam was you have to make the entire game in that one script. There shouldn't be any more scripts. And dude, that is a horrible idea. I mean, it depends on like what game you're making, but like even in Unity, like the simplest things, I would be splitting them up into multiple scripts. In this specific one, it was everything in that one script. I don't remember if I ever put it up on GitHub. I think I did put it up on itch.io because, like, I mean, that's where I was attending the game jam. But yeah, that was I think that was the last game jam that I attended. Mostly because like game jams aren't really my thing. I didn't like the concept of crunch in them, where they give you, you know, a certain number of days and you have to sort of rush to do the thing. I don't like that. I like the concept of game jams by themselves, but like I don't like the idea of having to rush things. And it's been kind of a debate. Like even back in the day, people would debate whether crunch is a good thing or a bad thing in game jams. Like the idea that game jams kind of reinforce that idea of crunch. Especially when you look at game jams that are like fucking 2 or 3 days. That's like real crunch, dude. That is crazy. Back in the day, I attended some local game jams. Actually, I think I only ever attended. No, I attended 2. Yeah, I attended 2 local game jams. One of them I actually slept at the venue. And dude, I don't want to do that. Like doing game jams is how I realized that this thing of sitting in one place and just concentrating on doing one thing only for a bunch of hours, it's not for me. It doesn't work for me. It's because of the way my mind works. My mind is it's usually all over the place, and I need to keep my mind busy enough. I need to keep my mind stimulated enough in order to get any work done. keeping my mind stimulated enough means stimulation from multiple different sources. So like, just to give you an example, right now I'm talking, I'm also watching a stream on another screen, somebody else's stream, and I'm doing this reading thing. So like, I have to do this kind of stuff in order to keep my mind stimulated enough. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to get anything done, because whenever I try to do something and my mind is not stimulated enough, I'm gonna get bored and my mind is gonna start wandering here and there. But this way, my mind remains busy. And I realize that sitting in like one place, especially with like game jam environments where you're physically going there. I like the idea of like online game jams way more than physical game jams. Because online game jams are more like, they give you a lot more freedom to, you know, do whatever you want and have your environment be however you want it to be. You can be comfortable. You can do it from your bed if you want, you know? But yeah, dude, maybe one of these days I'll try out a game jam. I'll see if I don't want to do like a 2-3 day kind of game jam. I don't want to do something that's going to mean that I have to be on a crunch. But at the same time, I don't think I'm going to have time, dude. Because I'm always working on some project. Which, I mean, the game jam could be another project, but like, I'm usually working on some project or doing research on something. There's always something that I'm working on. So I don't know if I'm ever going to have time for a game jam. Anyways, dude, let's carry on reading. Oh, also, I need to hydrate real quick. Just give me a couple of seconds. All right. Okay, so I just remembered where I sort of branched out from. I was talking about this. We read about the scene editor thing. That reminded me of how we had read in the previous stream, I think, that the entire Godot editor itself apparently is running on Godot. Like the UI that is being used, that is the same UI that you can use. I think that's the case, that's the same UI you can use to make your games. And that's kind of cool to me. I'm really interested in seeing like, or learning more about the software design of this engine. I don't know if the core dev has ever made that kind of a document mentioning like the entire core engine design, or maybe the community made one, because it's open source, right? Maybe the community studied it. Maybe the community made such a document. Let me Google this, dude. I'm curious about this. Godot core engine design. Engine development, engine core and modules. Okay, there's a section for that. All right, okay, that's awesome. Hold up, dude. What is this under? This is under contributing. Engine development, best practices for engine contributors, code style guideline. Yeah, I didn't think about that, dude. Like, if people are contributing to Godot, this is a community driven project. People have to understand the engine before they can contribute to it, right? So, of course, actually, okay, yeah, you guys can see it as well. Let me open it up here. I'm in this section, contributing. More specifically, engine development. Yeah, I'm in this section. Um. Oh. Godot is a large project. You know what? You guys should be able to read what I'm reading. So here's what we're gonna do. I was expecting to do something in Godot, but I think it's gonna be another maybe half an hour or something of reading. Actually, no. There's this section here, which goes into like creating the first scene. So I don't think we need to do that just yet. Yeah. I don't think we need to do that. Um. Okay, we'll just read this. Godot is a large project, both in terms of code base and the workload for the contributors. The guides below serve as a helper when you get stuck dealing with Git or GitHub, or if you are generally interested in how maintainers approach the project. You know, one of these days I should dedicate an entire stream to just doing Git stuff. Just doing Git stuff. I need to make like an entire list of things that I want to do, because I've learned about Git. I've used the command line version of Git. I've used GitHub itself. I've used GitHub desktop. I think it's called the desktop client of GitHub. I've used that, and like I have a fair bit of knowledge with GitHub. But there's certain like advanced topics that I haven't touched a whole lot. Stuff like doing a pull request, creating a pull request, merging a pull request. The concept of merging itself. Like I've done that very, very little. I think, to give you an idea, I think I've done that once in all this time that I've been using. I've done it once in one of my actual projects. As a practice thing, I did it a couple of times back in the day, through the CLI and stuff like that. So here's another thing I want to look into. I need to figure out if the GitHub client is enough for me to, the GitHub desktop client, I mean, and also the, what do you call it? The GitHub desktop client and the web client, if both of these are enough to do even the most advanced Git related things on GitHub or not. I need to figure out if there's anything at all that is like super advanced that I would absolutely need the CLI for. Because what I'm trying to do is avoid the CLI at all costs. When UI is available, doing the CLI thing, it's, in my opinion, it's not necessary unless you absolutely need to, or if it's just something you're more comfortable with. And at least in the case of Git, I would prefer to do the stuff via GUI. So using the web client, the desktop client. So anyways, okay, there's a couple of different things that I want to look into. I know the basics of Git. I know how to create a repo. I know how to add files to it. I know how to add multiple files to it as well. I know how to create a folder in the web client. Creating a folder, just so you know, like there isn't like an official option, like a straightforward option. The way you create the folder is when you're adding a file, a new file, you add an extra folder name there. So whatever the path is that you're currently on, you add slash and whatever folder name, and then slash, and that'll automatically create the folder for you. And then when you upload your file is going to be uploaded in that folder, and of course the folder will be created, and then your file will be uploaded in that folder. So that's how you do it with the web client. When you're using the desktop client, obviously you don't need to do that. You can just do it in your file system. But yeah, there's a bunch of Git related concepts that I need to learn because I want to start using Git and GitHub more. So right now I only use GitHub to like post my final projects once they're done. Um, and if anything extra needs to be added there, then I add it like, one by one later on. But I want to start using it for like more active development related stuff because like currently the way that I do it to use it for active development is not really a good way because like I'll do stuff like copy pasting the code or re-uploading the file, and that's just not a good way to do it. It's a way to do it. It gets the job done, but like it's not a good way to do it. So yeah, I need to write down a list of all Godot, no, all Git related topics that I wanna all Git related topics that I wanna learn, and then maybe we can make a stream out of it. All right. So the guides below serve as a helper when you get stuck dealing with Git or GitHub, or if you are generally interested in how maintainers approach the project. Okay, so this is ways to contribute. Cool. Code style, so and so, so and so, so and so, engine core, engine core and modules, and then there's editor development. Oh, there it is. Godot's architecture diagram. This is kind of what I was looking for. And then common engine methods and macros. I'm not gonna understand most of the code here. I mean, well, I'll understand the code, but like I won't really be able to make much out of it because like I don't do a whole lot of C++. But diagrams can help. Okay, the following diagram describes the architecture used by Godot from the core components down to the abstracted drivers via the scene structure and the servers. Dude, we are 58 minutes into the stream. We need to finish reading this thing. Where were we? Okay, so the Godot editor is essentially a scene editor. I'm gonna dive into the architecture thing later on. Okay, just a second. Okay, the Godot editor is a scene editor. It has plenty of tools for editing 2D and 3D scenes as well as user interfaces. So that's what I'm going to be focusing more on, UI, at least for my soundboard project. Man, I think my voice is going downhill. Probably only have a short amount of time more remaining. It's okay. We can go. We can keep going. A Godot project can contain as many of these scenes as you need. So I think something I'm gonna have to sort of get used to is the idea of nodes and scenes, because they keep saying scenes, but like my mind connects scenes to Unity scenes, and in Unity like a scene is a whole other thing. Like, you have a scene contains game objects, right? And each scene is like its own thing. I don't think you can have multiple scenes. I don't remember. I don't remember if they ever introduced the idea of having multiple scenes running at once. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. You could load two scenes and have one of them set as active, but like that's in the editor. I don't know how that works in yeah, I don't remember. I think they did. I think the idea was, I'm gonna have to look into this. Like, don't quote me on it because I haven't done it in a while. The whole multi-scene thing. They did have like a multi-scene editing thing, which was super convenient. But like during runtime, I don't remember if you're able to use multiple scenes at the same time or not. Because I think you're limited to running one scene at a time. But like, okay, keeping multi scenes aside, what I'm used to is the idea that, okay, you have scenes, scenes have game objects, right? And game objects have components. Like that's how it works in Unity. Give me a second. I need to hydrate. If you're wondering what that sound was, I accidentally hit my pop filter. Okay. So that's what I'm used to, right? But in Godot, what I'm reading so far is you have nodes. Nodes can be grouped together into a scene, and then scenes are grouped together into a scene tree. But then a scene can also be used as a node. So like I'm trying to wrap my head around this concept. I'm gonna have to do a lot of experimenting to get a better idea of the difference between a node and a scene, and how a scene becomes a node. I guess following this step-by-step thing is gonna clear that doubt, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. How are we doing on the music? Is the music still going? Yep, music's still going. Hell yeah. By the way, shout out to Machine Supremacy. Go check them out. Pretty awesome band, pretty awesome music. If you like video game kind of music, a lot of their music is inspired by video games. So yeah, dude, go check them out. Okay, a Godot project can contain as many scenes as you need. The engine only requires one as your application's main scene. Okay, this is the scene Godot will first load when you or a player runs the game. On top of acting like nodes, scenes have the following characteristics. They always have one root node, like the character in our example. Let's take a look at that. Okay. You can save them to your local drive and load them later. Oh, that's interesting. You can save the scene as a file or as an asset. That is interesting. So does that mean you can save, like, because if a scene acts as a node as well, does that mean you can save nodes as well? Because like Godot has like its own concept of prefabs, but like prefabs work in a different way in Godot. It's not exactly the same as, for example, how it works in Unity. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, you can save them to your local drive and load them later. You can create as many instances of a scene as you'd like. You could have 5 or 10 characters in your game created from your character scene. Okay. Creating your first scene. Let's create our first scene with a single node. To do so, you will need to create a project first. After opening the project, you should see an empty editor. In an empty scene, the scene dock on the left shows several options to add a root node quickly. 2D scene adds a node 2D node. 3D scene adds a node 3D node, and user interface adds a control node. These presets are here for convenience. They are not mandatory. Other node lets you select any node to be the root node. In an empty scene, other node is equivalent to pressing the add child node. Okay, but add child to what? There is no root right now. Wait, in an empty scene, other node is equivalent to pressing the add child node button at the top left of the scene dock. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at that. Which usually adds a new node as a child of the currently selected node. All right. Okay. Let's just follow along. We are going to add a single label node to our scene. Its function is to draw text on the screen. Okay, cool. I like that it's not being connected to UI just yet. Like, it's just text. It's label, but it's text that you can add in the scene. I'm curious about what space the text is going to be in. Like, is it screen space or is it world space? Actually, I also have to see like what the different spaces are called in Godot, because if I remember right, they have global space and local space. I think so. Which global space is basically world space. Was it global space? Let me just hold on. Where is Godot? Here. This was the button, I believe. Let me just get the tooltip. Use local space. Oh, it doesn't give the other option. Okay, so I guess the other option, let's just call it world space. I don't remember where I read global space. But anyways. Press the add child node button or the other node button to create a root node. The create node dialog opens, showing the long list of available nodes. Select the label node. You can type its name to filter down the list. Click on the label node to select it and click the create button at the top of at the bottom of the window. All right. Okay, let's do that. So we can either click here or we can click here. Give it a second. I don't know if it's gonna appear on screen, but like you guys saw the screenshot, so like that's fine. So I'm gonna type in label here. Oh, okay, label is already under control, so it is considered. It's under canvas item. Okay, it'll be interesting exploring all of these different. I think these are all considered nodes, right? This canvas item and control and label. I think they're all nodes, right? Abstract base class. I like that, dude. I like that there's a description down here. That's convenient. What about just node? Can I do that? Just node. Holy shit, I can do that. So, wow, okay, that is convenient. Okay, let's delete this. And let's follow the tutorial. So let's add a label node. Give it a second. All right, so it has been added and the view has kind of changed. Okay, a lot happens when you add a scene's first node. The scene changes to the 2D workspace because okay, is that oh, I didn't even realize that it had switched to 2D. I was wondering like what should I be looking at here to understand what exactly just happened? But yeah, it switched from we were in 3D, it switched to 2D. Okay. So it's interesting seeing how like you can use both the 2D and the 3D um screens or scenes at what do you call them? Main screens, I think. Workspace, let's call it workspace. Yeah. You can it's kind of interesting seeing that you kind of have to use both 2D or you can use both 2D and the 3D workspace uh, when you're working on your project because like each of them gets used for different purposes. I think so. UI is done in 2D. I think 2D stuff is also done in 2D, not in 3D. If that is the case, that's convenient. Like being able to use the same space for both 2D and UI stuff. Okay, the scene changes to the 2D workspace because label is a 2D node type. The label appears selected in the top left corner of the viewport. The node appears in the same dock. Godot editor, um, just the fact that I'm able to scale is super helpful, because like I've been in those kinds of situations where the text is just too fucking small, dude. Like holy shit. Give me a second. I need to hydrate. All right. Oh, yeah. So, back to what I was saying. So, if anyone was wondering how I did that, if you want to increase the editor scale, if you want to scale the editor up or down, you click editor, editor settings, then under interface, select editor, and in that section, you change the display scale to custom, and then you set the custom display scale to 1.15 or to whatever your desired size is. And yeah, that's all you have to do. In fact, you don't even have to set it to custom. I set custom because I wanted to set 1.15, which I'm assuming is 115%. But the drop down for the display scale, it does give you other options. The first option is auto, which is 100%. But then you have other options, which is 75% to scale it down, I think. I think 75% would be down. So zooming out, basically. And then you have 100% and 125, 150, 175, 200. So that's all zooming in. But yeah, dude, that's how you do it. Oh, after you set the scale, you have to save and restart the editor. And then you have bigger UI and bigger everything else as well. Dude, you know what would be fun? At some point in time, I wanna try making a custom theme for Godot as well. I think there's gonna be a lot of pieces for me to work on, but like if I'm able to spend some time working on all of the colors, that would be kind of cool. Cause I remember working on the theme for Blender and VS Code. Neither of them, by the way, have very elegant ways of testing out the theme. Well, VS Code, it's still a bit better in terms of being able to test, but like Blender's method of testing your theme, it's not that good. Like the iterative aspect is not there. The idea of iterating over your theme constantly so you can improve it, that concept is not there. The workflow that they use for it, it's not, it doesn't support that practice. So like you have to find alternate ways to do it. So yeah, let's just say it's not making a theme in Blender, the method for testing it out, it's not a very elegant method. In VS Code, it's okay. It's not that bad. Let's see how good or bad it is in Godot. Though I could just use somebody else's theme. I'm sure, like, it's a community driven project, right? If there is the idea of themes, I'm sure a bunch of other people must have made good looking themes. So I can probably pick up somebody else's. You know what? Let me Google this. Godot theme. Using the theme editor. There's a theme editor? Dude, okay. Yo. They have an editor for their themes. Yo. Theme creation stream. Let's go. Not now, but like at some point in the future. Once I know what I'm doing in Godot, once I know my way around Godot, then I can try to make it pretty. Now, this being said, or that being said, um, if there is the option, wait, what is this? Control node tutor. Oh, okay, yeah. If there is the option to create a theme, wait, hold on. It mentioned theme. Was that the theme for the editor? This article explains how to create and manage UI themes using the Godot editor and its theme editor too. We recommend getting familiar with the basics behind GUI skinning. Below the text property and type hello world. Okay. All right. So, okay, I'm noticing this. The control thing, it works in 3D. It doesn't work in 2D. How do I do it in 2D? Oh shit. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, how do I do it in 2D? I'm gonna need... Oh, wait. I need to go into 2D. Hold up, hold up. Because the editor thing, the editor settings has a 2D section as well. Oh, that doesn't have options for that. Okay. Is there any option I need to select to like automatically apply this to? Hmm. Okay, I guess we can find out later on. It's fine. Either way, we have our hello world thing here. Also, I need to now I think I need to make the oh shit. I did not mean to do that. That was a mistake. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. We are kind of lost. Okay, there's all right. All right. Okay. I need to add I need to add a feature to avoid this happening. All right, let's just is this how it's supposed to be? I can't remember. I can't tell if this is upside down or not. It's okay. It's okay. So I'll make the avatar small. Um, Give me a second. Okay. So we are currently occupying the resources, no, the file system section. But that's okay. We aren't doing much in the file system section just yet. Also, we're not completely occluding it, so it's not like it's doing too much harm. So it's fine. Oh, also, just give me a second. Okay. Right. So, oh, before we continue, is the music still going or is the album over? The album is over. So we're gonna restart this album. No, actually, we're gonna play a different album. Let's go for Rise of a Digital Nation. The last album that we played was Phantom Shadow. I need to test the audio level, so let me just skip to a louder section. I think we're good. I think we're good. So let's restart that. Okay, just in case, let's mute and unmute. Okay, great. Right. So, um, all right, we have done our hello world thing in Godot. Let's go. Oh, give me a second. I need to hydrate. Okay, you will see the text draw in the viewport as you type. Actually, I didn't notice that, but yeah, that makes sense, right? Yep, that makes sense. Cool, great. What is this? What does this button do? Oh, it opens the thing up in like a multi-line thing and like a bigger window. I'm guessing it's not showing up on stream because it opens up in a different window. Okay, cool. You can move your label node in the viewport by selecting the move tool. All right, so this is where I'm going to start using keyboard shortcuts. All right, so we can move this around. Where is the position? Okay, there's an ad playing, so I'm gonna sit quiet for 30 seconds. Man, if I would have known that an ad was gonna be playing, I would have taken my hydration break during the ad. But whatever. 20 more seconds. All right, welcome back. So, you can move your label node in the viewport by clicking the move tool in the toolbar. By the way, for anyone who is also new to Godot like me, you have this toolbar here and some shortcuts that if you're coming from Unity, you'll find them useful. Q is this cursor thing. They call it select mode. Wait, what is that about rotating? Click and drag to rotate the selected node around pivot. I did not know that that was the case. Hold up. Selected node. Oh, you mean like this? No, they don't mean like that. Oh, control, click, and drag. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's what was happening previously. I did not know that. That is good to know. Alt drag is to move the selected node. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so when you have the node selected, I need to get into the habit of calling it a node, not a game object. So yeah, when you have the node selected and you're in select mode, you can hold down Alt, and then regardless of where your mouse cursor is, you can left click and then start moving it. That's convenient. That is very convenient. What else do they have? Control Alt drag is to skip. Hold on, dude. What? Oh, and you can also have like a uniform scale thing going on. Man, this is cool. Okay, this is cool. I also like that they've mentioned all of this here. That's convenient. I wouldn't have known this unless I had read this. I wouldn't have known this unless I had read this text that's over here. V sets the selected node's pivot position. Oh, that's interesting. You can set the pivot position as well. Oh, wow, dude. Oh, so if you hold V, you can then move the thing wherever you want, and then you release V. Or wherever your mouse cursor is, you can just hit V once and it'll place the thing there. How do you snap it to the center? Do I have to turn on snapping mode? Let's, okay, we'll find out. But yeah, this is convenient because then now I can do something like this. Dude, this is convenient, man. This is actually really convenient. Okay. Alt plus right mouse button shows a list of all the nodes at position clicked, including locked. And right mouse button adds add node at position clicked. Oh, okay. What is it? Alt right? No. Oh, wait. Alt plus right. I should say that. Yeah, Alt plus right mouse button. Actually, no, that doesn't. It's just the right mouse button. Instantiate scene here. Move node here. Oh, okay. All right, and then add node here as well. Okay, cool, nice. So you're not limited to doing it from the scene panel, I think it's called. What do they call this? Scene dock, I think. Not the scene panel. Where is it? Let me just, because I want to get my terminology right. The scene dock, yeah, that's what they call it. So these are docks, yeah. I just remembered. So you have the, I think the inspector is also considered a dock. Hold on, what is node here? Oh, it's a convenient list, so I can. Oh wait, no, this is for signals specifically. What about groups? Okay, so this is something else. Also, what is history? Oh, it's like, is this so we can like repeat stuff if we want? So let's add a node. Let's add a new label node. That should get added here. Yeah, create node. That got added. Hell yeah, dude. And then there's all, okay, so all of these actions get recorded. So I knew that it gets recorded in output, like you can see here. You can see, wait, it's not at the bottom. Okay, so you can't see it, but like it's getting, because the text is getting added to the bottom. Anyways, so let's delete this and carry on working on this one. Okay, so we've done that. Good. So we are learning. We are making progress. You can move. Okay, with the label selected, click and drag anywhere in the viewport and move it to the center of the view delimited by the rectangle. I'm not sure exactly what this was saying to do, but like, okay, that's fine. Okay, running the scene. Everything's ready to run. Everything's ready to run the scene. Press the play scene button in the top right of the screen, or press F6 or Control or Command R on macOS. A pop-up invites you to save the scene, which is required to run it. Click the save button in the file browser to save it as label.tscene. Okay. So TSCN is that's the extension for the scene. Actually, no, SCN is also an extension for scene. I wonder what T is here. I guess, okay, we'll find out later. The save scene as dialog, like other file dialogues in the editor, only allows to save files inside the project. The res path at the top of the window represents the project's root directory and stands for resource path. Okay, good to know. For more information about the file paths in Godot, see file system. Okay, great. The application should open in a new window and display the text "Hello World." close the window or press F8 to quit the running scene. Okay, so we're gonna try all of this out. You guys might not be able to see the scene running. You know what we could do? We can turn game capture off and turn that off as well and open up display capture. Okay, so we hit F6 and then we save that label. Okay, great. So it's gonna save in the project's root directory. Okay, and it started up the scene. So it opened up the scene and oh shit, I didn't transition, did I? Yep, I forgot to transition. All right, so here we are. This is our window. The text is not appearing here, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna exit and see why the scene is not. So it mentioned something about a rectangle. I didn't fully understand. Oh, is this? Oh, am I supposed? Am I supposed to put it here? Is this rectangle representative of where the camera is? In case you guys can't make it out, because I definitely couldn't make it out. I saw this earlier and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, what was the shortcut to scale? Was it this? Yeah, it was this. So let's do a uniform scale kind of thing. And the, man, I'm getting used to the movement going on here, the movement mechanics, and I kind of like it, dude. This is convenient. Like, I don't even have to switch to the move tool to do this. I don't have to switch to rotate. Okay, how would rotate work? Yeah, rotate does the exact same thing, right? And then what's the scale shortcut? Scale is S. Okay, so scale is not R. Scale is S, which, I mean, it makes sense, but like I was looking at it from like the Unity point of view. So instead of doing all of this, you could just be in select mode, and that way you can conveniently move this around. You can rotate. You can. I wonder why this is snapping. This is snapping to 15-degree increments. How can I make it smooth? Maybe there's a setting where I can make it smooth. Oh, it's because, so I don't have to hold down control. The reason it was snapping was because I had control held down, because like it's when you control and then left click, that's when it starts the rotating thing. But then you have to let go of control, and then you can do like a smooth. Okay, cool, good to know. But yeah, dude, this is super convenient. Right, so we are gonna enter play mode again, or run the scene. I'm not sure how to say that. And there is our Hello World program. Congrats to us, dude. Our first Hello World program. Well, technically second, but like let's not talk about the first one. This is our first one. Also, it's interesting seeing the difference between this, which, no, what did we do? Run specific scene? I don't think we did this. Did we do that? No, we didn't do this. We didn't run the project. We ran this scene. Oh, also I like that there's options here. So you can run a specific scene, or you can run the current scene. But yeah, I'm interested in knowing what is the difference between running the project and running the scene. I guess we'll find out later. For now, I think I can switch back because display capture is horrible for performance. So we're going to transition and we're good to go. Great. Okay, setting the main scene. To run our test scene, we use... Also, I think I'm seeing now what they were talking about previously, where... Oh, dude, I'm curious about something. Hold on. Because, like, it launched it in a different window. I'm going to switch back to display capture, just so you guys can see this test as well. Yeah, let's transition back. Okay. Uh, this is where I meant to be. Okay. So, what I'm curious about is, let's say we run the scene, right? Now, let's say I want to make a change to... I want to move this. Let's say I move the node here. Oh, okay, so you can do live editing. You can do live... oh, I don't have the always on top option here, but like, yeah, you can move the thing live. That's convenient. I was wondering if it does like if it's doing like a... Oh shit. Okay, we froze for a couple of seconds. But yeah, okay, I was wondering if it's like if it's doing like a whole build and then you can't edit the thing during play, during, you know, play mode, like when it's running the scene you can't do any editing. Though this is great because like I feel like with this workflow, let's say I do this, right? I'm doing the change here and the change is showing up here, right? That's convenient, but that also means the change gets saved after or it should get saved, right? Let's say I exit this. Yeah, the change is saved. So this way we can have changes persisting throughout play mode, even after you exit play mode. I'm assuming that's what they call play. That's what they call it here. I'm using old Unity terms, but like yeah, I'm assuming that's what they call it here as well. But yeah, this is convenient, dude. So, oh, let's switch out of display capture and go into something more performant and transition. Open this up and we should be good now. Are we not good now? We are not good now. Hold on. Something is wrong. do so. A pop-up window appears and invites you to select the main scene. Click the select button, and in the file dialog that appears, double-click the label TSCN. Alright, let's do that. F5. Oh, okay, it's convenient that they have a select current option. But yeah, you guys can't see the extra stuff that's coming up. But just take my word for it. There's a dialog that showed up. It's basically the screenshots that are... Wait, what is showing up here? Hold up. What is being captured? Oh, yeah, okay. So, just so you guys know, this dialog showed up, the confirm thing, and then this dialog showed up. So here I selected label, and then it was good. The demo should run again. Moving forward, every time you run the project, Godot will use this scene as a starting point. Okay, cool. Good to know. Okay, note, the editor saves the main scene's path in the project.godot file in your project's directory. While you can edit this text file directly to change project settings, you can also, that's convenient, you can also use the project settings window to do so. It saves the main scene's path. Okay, alright, cool. In the next part, we'll discuss another key concept in games and in Godot, creating instances of a scene. Alright, moving on to the next part. Creating instances. In the previous part, we saw that a scene is a collection of nodes organized in a tree structure with a single node as its root. You can split your project into any number of scenes. This feature helps you break down and organize. You can split your project into any number of scenes. Wait. With a single node as its root. Okay. A scene is a collection of nodes, organized in a tree structure, with a single node as its root. Okay. So I'm still confused. Oh, okay, they're gonna explain here what is a... Okay, alright. Okay, you can split your project into any number of scenes. This feature helps you break down and organize your game's different components. You can create as many scenes as you'd like and save them as files with the TSCN extension, which stands for... Oh, it stands for text scene. Okay. The label text scene file from the previous lesson was an example. We call those files packed scenes as they pack information about your scene's content. Here's an example of a ball. It's composed of a rigid body 2D node as its root named ball. Okay, so it's a rigid body 2D node which allows the ball to fall and bounce on walls. Okay, hold on. Let me read that sentence properly. Because I was reading it to understand it, but then like now the tone doesn't make sense. Here's an example of a ball. It's composed of a rigid body 2D node as its root named ball, which allows the ball to fall and bounce on walls. Wow, holy shit, this is like rhyming. Okay, a sprite 2D node and a collision shape 2D. All right. Once you saved a scene, it works as a blueprint. You can reproduce in other scenes as many times as you'd like. Replicating an object from a template like this is called instancing. As we mentioned in the previous part, instanced scenes, that is not easy to say, instanced scenes behave like a node. The editor hides their contents by default. When you instance the ball, you only see the ball node. Notice how each duplicate has a unique name. You know what? Let's try to reproduce this example. I think they might be... Okay, yeah, there it is. It's Oh wow. Okay, so they're gonna guide us through this whole thing. Okay. Also, what's this about importing? Oh, okay. We've prepared this thing for you. Uh, it's fine. I can use my own. Actually, this would be good practice for importing sprites in, but I kind of want to import my own sprites. I don't want to use uh I don't want to use like the whatever they're giving. I would rather use my own. Not that it makes too much of a difference. I just want to use my own. I have like random shapes and whatever icons and artwork and stuff in a folder, so I can like try and import some of those. So this will be a good example of importing things into Godot. What are these things? They're called so that's a wall container. So it's a wall container node. I'm guessing main is our root of the scene. Wall container is... Oh, wall container is another node. It's sort of a parent. And then we have wall, 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 wall. Okay, so then each wall is a node that contains a sprite and a collision shape. I'm not sure what the wall itself contains. There's an icon here of something. I'm still not fully familiarized with Godot's icons, but okay. So I'm getting really hungry. I've been hungry, to be honest, since before I started the stream, but like I didn't want to become more late in starting the stream, so I decided to just hold off. So here's what we're gonna do. I haven't just a second. Right, so I haven't raided anyone in ages, to be honest. I haven't raided anyone in ages. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna raid this person named Polarin or Polarin, I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna raid this person. I'm gonna start the raid. But yeah, okay. So that's going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.